Button Book, The Devotion of the Surgery Room Review. Even before the light novel boom started, Yen Press was releasing Book Girl in English. Now author Mizuki Nomura returns with a sort of sequel series, Button Book, which Print Press has also picked up. However, the market for light novels has changed significantly since Book Girl was released, so will this series be able to stand and impress? Let's find out. The story follows Musabu, a high school boy who can hear the voices of books and that he finds himself helping out those in need. He's also dating Princess Yonaga, a book that gets extremely jealous if Musabu reads or talks to any other kind of literature, so whenever Musabu leads in hand, it's forever at the peril of upsetting his girlfriend. Book in Book is made up of 5 different stories that see our protagonist getting involved with a wide range of cases. These range from helping Book find its former owner, solving the case of someone being possessed by the spirit of a story, and helping a light novel author whose novels are in selling as well as he hoped. In each of these short tales, Musabu first comes across the book that needs his help, that gives him a nickname and promises to do everything he can, sometimes relying on the help of his best friend Haruto. The story surrounding the lost book, who gets called Pipi, is highly emotional, as Pipi explains to Musabu that her owner adored her, but one day he left her behind at the train station. That was a few years ago, and as Musabu had his work cut out for him if he wanted to find the girl, even once he does, which he wants the book back. This one is especially interesting since it deals with the concept of a reader growing up and how the books we love in childhood way not be something we appreciate not today, depending on how your experience have changed our lives. Even just growing from elementary school age up to high school can change our opinions a great deal. Sometimes we can be afraid of revisiting something we really love, and that's certainly a big part of PP storyline as well. I appreciate that Bond and Book mixes emotional storylines and with some lighter tunes, like the tale about the light novel author. In this one, Musabu doesn't have a lot of do because ultimately he can magically make the book sell, but it's still fun to see him interact with the personality of the book as he reads it from himself and gives the author advice based on the feedback in books themselves are yelling out. There's also an entertaining sequence where Musabu tries to make the series popular by getting Haruto to walk around reading it. He's the trendsetter thanks to be the most popular boy at school. What's obvious with this series is the author Mitsuki Hamura loves books just as much as our protagonist here does. Every book that Musabu helps is a real piece of literature, not just for Japan, but also for plenty of other countries, and their storylines loosely relate to the original work. You can still enjoy Bond and Book without knowing how much about the book's future, especially since Musabu often gives a short overview of them, but there is certainly an extra layer and enjoyment for people who are already aware of the books. I made that going into Bond and Book. I was concerned about the fact I had never read Book and Girl and how much I must miss out and because of that. Thankfully, this proved to be a non-issue, and I can say that this book stood its own just fine. Which I don't want to go and buy Book Girl now, so potentially hazardous for readers' wallets. I think the biggest drawback is that we're missing out on knowing how Musabu and Princess Yunaga came together since it's alluded to that the protagonist of Book Girl made that happen. Knowing this will likely have Princess Yunaga a more likable character tonight, so since she largely just exists to be a tsundere archetype, and treated Musabu for reading anything but her. Hopefully, future entries in the series will be able to smooth that out. As previously mentioned, Bound in Books comes to the West thanks to Yen Press and has been translated by Nicole Wilder. The translation reads well with no issues to note. This release a lovely hardback with a fallout colored image at the beginning. Illustration are handled by Miyu Takeoka, who was also worked on Book Girl. The character design looks like they came straight out of the early 2000s series, but I appreciate that they're keeping with the book style of Book Girl. Bond and Book is ongoing in Japan with 5 volumes in Yen Press as volume 2 titled Bond and Book, The Long, Long Goodbye of the Last Bookstore, scheduled for release in March. Overall, Bond and Book is a real treat for book lovers everywhere with its unique premise and passionate author. The fact it's made up of short stories means none of the storylines outstrays their welcome, but most importantly, it also means there is sure to be a story here that readers will be able to relate to among the selection. 8 over 10.